There are moments in history that feel so far away they almost seem like stories from another world. We imagine them in black and white, frozen in old photographs that make the people seem distant, almost unreal. But every once in a while, history surprises us. When rare colorized photographs of the American Civil War appear before our eyes, something remarkable happens. Suddenly, the past no longer feels like a faded memory. It feels alive. The faces become familiar. The uniforms seem freshly worn. The dusty roads, the weathered hands, and the hopeful eyes remind us that these were real people with real dreams, living through one of the most difficult chapters in American history. For many years, the Civil War existed in our minds as grainy images with little emotion. We saw soldiers standing still because cameras of that time required people to remain perfectly motionless. We saw battlefields after the fighting had ended, quiet and empty. But color changes everything. It invites us into their world. We begin to notice the deep blue of a Union soldier's coat, the faded gray of a Confederate uniform, the warm brown of wooden fences, and the green fields that stretched across the countryside before war left its scars. Looking at these rare colorized photographs is like opening a window through time. You begin to realize that these men were often no older than teenagers. Many had left farms, small towns, or busy cities, believing they would soon return home. Some carried letters from loved ones tucked safely into their pockets. Others carried tiny family photographs, hoping they would survive long enough to see those smiling faces again. Their expressions tell stories that words sometimes cannot. Some faces show quiet confidence. Others reveal fear hidden beneath determined eyes. A few even wear gentle smiles, perhaps taken before they truly understood what lay ahead. These moments remind us that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward even when the future is uncertain. The photographs also introduce us to ordinary people whose lives were forever changed by extraordinary events. Mothers waited anxiously by windows, wondering if their sons would come home. Children grew up faster than they should have, helping keep farms running while fathers marched away. Nurses worked tirelessly in crowded hospitals, caring for wounded soldiers with compassion that often made the difference between life and death. Then there are the photographs of African Americans whose lives stood at the center of this great struggle. Some had lived under slavery and dreamed of freedom for generations. Others joined the United States colored troops, wearing uniforms with enormous pride. In color, their faces radiate dignity, determination, and hope. These images remind us that the Civil War was not only about armies and battles. It was also about human freedom, courage, and the belief that every person deserves dignity. One of the most moving parts of these photographs is how ordinary life continued even during extraordinary hardship. Families cooked meals over open fires. Children played simple games whenever they could find moments of peace. Farmers tended crops between the sounds of distant cannon fire. Life refused to stop completely, even when uncertainty surrounded every sunrise. As we study these remarkable images, we notice details that black and white photographs often hide. The faded leather boots covered with dust from endless marching. The carefully polished brass buttons on military jackets. The colorful blankets rolled tightly over soldiers' shoulders. The rough wooden wagons carrying supplies across muddy roads. Every small detail brings another piece of history back to life. Some photographs show military camps where soldiers gathered around campfires after long days. They wrote letters home by lantern light, shared stories, sang familiar songs, and laughed whenever they could. Those moments of friendship became precious reminders of home. Even during war, people searched for comfort, kindness, and connection. Other images reveal towns damaged by conflict. Buildings stand broken, streets lie empty, and churches bear the marks of battle. Yet even among destruction, people work together to rebuild. Neighbors helped neighbors. Communities slowly found strength they never knew they possessed. These scenes remind us that the human spirit has an incredible ability to recover, even after great loss. Perhaps the most powerful photographs are not the dramatic ones at all. They are the quiet portraits. A young soldier staring directly into the camera. An elderly woman sitting calmly on her front porch. A family gathered together before saying goodbye. These simple moments carry enormous emotional weight because they remind us that history is made by ordinary people living ordinary lives during extraordinary times. Color allows us to see the humanity that connects us across generations. We begin to notice freckles on a young face, tired eyes after sleepless nights, worn hands shaped by years of hard work, and gentle smiles shared between friends. Suddenly, the distance of more than 160 years disappears. They no longer seem like strangers from history books. They become people we can understand. These photographs also teach an important lesson about memory. Every generation leaves behind pieces of its story. Sometimes those stories are written in books. Sometimes they are preserved in letters. And sometimes they survive in photographs waiting patiently for future generations to discover them again. Thanks to modern technology, color has given these priceless images a new voice, helping us appreciate not only what happened but also the people who lived through it. When children look at these pictures today, they often ask thoughtful questions. What were these people thinking? Were they afraid? Did they miss their families? Those questions matter because they encourage empathy. History becomes more than names and dates. It becomes a reminder that every generation faces challenges, makes difficult choices, and hopes for a better tomorrow. The Civil War remains one of America's most painful chapters. Families were divided. Friends found themselves on opposite sides. Communities experienced unimaginable loss. Yet from that painful period came lessons about unity, freedom, sacrifice, and the importance of healing old wounds. The rare colorized photographs allow us to reflect on those lessons with fresh eyes and open hearts. As we quietly step away from these remarkable images, we carry something more valuable than historical knowledge. We carry gratitude. Gratitude for those who endured hardship. Gratitude for those who believed the future could be brighter than the present. Gratitude for the photographers who preserved these moments, even without knowing that generations far into the future would still be studying their work with wonder. History is not only about remembering the battles that were fought. It is about remembering the people who lived, loved, hoped, and dreamed through those difficult years. Every restored photograph reminds us that behind every uniform was a heartbeat, behind every face was a family, and behind every sacrifice was the hope that future generations would live in greater peace. And perhaps that is the greatest gift these rare color photographs give us. They remind us that even after seasons of darkness, healing is possible. Even after division, unity can grow. Even after hardship, hope can rise again. As we honor the lives captured in these timeless images, may we cherish peace more deeply, treat one another with greater kindness, and continue building a future worthy of the sacrifices that came before us, ensuring that the colors of courage, compassion, and hope never fade from our own generation.